You've seen the sugar skulls at party stores, or the face paint on Instagram, or all the merchandise at Target, and you see Dia de los Muertos. But do you know what it means? It's not just trick-or-treating and candy and looking spooky. It's a beautiful tradition of honoring our dead loved ones who we believe are in spirit. Hi boo, it's me, your medium bestie, the Death Fairy, certified Tatula, and your spirit guide to the other side thing. So what is Dia de los Muertos? It's really about honoring our loved ones who are died and are now in spirits. And it sounds really easy for me to say because it's something that I have been celebrating for so long, but I understand that it can be uncomfortable for some people, especially when it's in the open. So we see it at the stores and it looks cute and colorful, and you've probably watched Coco and you're like, oh, that's such a cute movie, right? But I had an altar up when I was living with a roommate and they did not appreciate it. So with Dia de los Muertos on that altar, you put your loved ones up and it has their photos and candles and foods, and it's really beautiful, intricate altar. And that being said, they had just gone through a death in the family, and seeing my altar really triggered them. And it really made me remember, okay, I have to be careful because we're not comfortable honoring death in this country, America, yet, fully, right? For Mexican people, because they've done it for so long, or as long as I can see like on TV, it doesn't feel so strange. Dia de los Muertos, you dress up in skulls and you honor your loved ones by going to the cemetery and decorating it so beautifully and putting up altars and really talking about them. And it feels so rich, so sacred, and so supported. But in America, we don't have a lot of death traditions. So I could really understand. It's like, oh, we're missing that here. We don't have that. So when I see all the merchandise at the store, it makes me so happy. I'm like, oh, a little piece of my lineage, of my family's traditions are here. And it's not scary. It's not spooky. It's really beautiful and it's really needed. Historically, Dia de los Muertos is a tradition that came about from Mexican indigenous people and the colonization into Catholicism. The indigenous people wanted to keep their death tradition of honoring their loved ones in spirit, and Catholicism was like, okay, well, we can make it work. So it merged to go with All Saints Day and All Souls Day. Traditionally, you celebrate Dia de los Muertos on October 31st in the evening, and that's when the gates of heaven would open, so to speak, and all the souls are allowed to come through and visit us in human form, right? They're with us here on our earth plane, is what we believe. Then on November 1st, it's Dia de los Inocentes. That's when we honor the babies. We honor the young souls. We'll light candles for them. We'll remember them. We'll have a special space for them. And then November 2nd is when we honor all the souls and we celebrate with them. We make them food and play their favorite songs and talk about them and just invite them to be with us here in person. It's not Halloween. Halloween right now, it's about having fun with being a little bit of a trickster, being spooky. Dia de los Muertos is just honoring loved ones who are dead in spirits, really talking to them like they're right here in flesh and bone. I build my altar with 3 tiers, and usually the more tiers the better. It gets a little hard because I want to be mindful of my space, and I have 3 young children, so I don't want to take up too much space or have something a little dangerous with candles. So what I'll do, especially because it involves fire, I'll put my candles up and then I'll use the little fake candles that you have electricity on when I'm not around, and just put those on top to still simulate the candle lights while being fire safe. I have a lot of fire stories because I use a lot of candles, so I'm extra careful, especially with young ones around. Every year I buy more decorations, and every year my decorations grow, which is so awesome. So every year my altar is a little bit different. My kids help me build the altar, and they like putting the decorations up. We'll play some songs that my ancestors loved listening to. We'll talk about them every year. I explain who is who, why they're there, why I love them, or what memories we know of them. They now know some ancestors who are on the altar, so they'll be like, oh, that's so-and-so. And it's a really beautiful time of connecting, of understanding where they came from and connecting to their ancestors. With the Dia de Muertos altar, the elements do matter. There's always these beautiful yellow-orange marigolds. Marigolds are commonly used on Dia de los Muertos altar because they symbolize death. Their bright colors and their beautiful scent attract the spirits to the altar. So every time I see a marigold, I always think Dia de los Muertos, because that's what you use to attract the spirits, like come through. To me, they symbolize death because they're so bright and beautiful. They really do attract our spirit loved ones, or at least that's what is believed. Food is really important. You always want to make your favorite meal, or well, their favorite meal for them. But typically we also have pan de muerto, which is a bread that is kind of like cinnamon and sugar, and it has little cross on top. It reminds me of hot cross buns, but sweeter and covered in cinnamon sugar. Usually, sometimes you can get different variations, which is pretty cool now. And so always pan de muerto, my kids love that. My eldest actually learned how to make it in school, which I think is so cool. And so he was really enticing me to like make it with him. Every year he's like, let's make pan de muerto. So it's really sweet and really awesome. We place food on the altar because that's what they eat when they come in. It's a long journey from the spirit world. So they're attracted by the flowers, they're attracted by the incense, right? The incense kind of lights their way or makes the trail. They come in and then they eat, and you have to have drinks, water, tequila. You have to have some tequila. My great grandmother, she loved hard liquor, so a little for her, a little for me. And it's a really beautiful, like little things that they liked as well, like cigarettes, some candies, chocolates, things that they would appreciate. They come in, and it feels nice for me to leave it out, because it's just like, oh, you know, I got this for you, and I know you'll appreciate it. And they do, they really do. Side note, because I'm a medium, I know what spirit is like. They love when we light candles for them, when we talk about them, when we include them in the family still. I've noticed that when people die, it's like they stop existing, right? We don't want to talk about them. We don't want to trigger an emotion from saying their names. And that's why during Dia de los Muertos, it's so awesome that we can say their names. We can be like, oh yeah, you know, grandma this, grandpa this, uncle this, auntie this, and really bring them into our physical world. If you're sensitive and you just open up a little, I bet you'll feel them, because they're around. Either way, they're always around us, but during Dia de los Muertos, it's just like, wow, they're celebrating me so nicely. Like it's an honor. It's like, come through, my beloved loved one, my guest of honor. It's such a nice feeling. Don't forget to add their photos. This is a really big thing in Coco. I'll talk about that in my next video. But photos of your loved ones is really nice, because then you see their beautiful faces. And traditionally we use like their wedding photos, or their photos when they were like 17. Like these beautiful young photos are commonly used, at least on my altar. And I've gotten a lot of them from my grandma, so shout out to grandma, who has provided me with a lot of our ancestral photos. And it's so nice to see them in their prime, to see them looking like, yeah, you know, there's something about that energy of when you're like in your 20s, or when you're young and you just feel like you can conquer the world. And it shows in that photo. That's what I have a lot of on my altar. It's like, oh yeah, that's my grandpa when he was like 20, maybe 17, I don't know, and looking like looking like a rebel without a cause with his motorcycle, looking all cool. It's really nice. Another side note, as a medium, spirits doesn't have an age, right? So sometimes, and a lot of times actually, they'll materialize when I see them as their younger self. They don't want to be remembered when they were dying. they don't want to be remembered in their like 80s when they couldn't move their bodies as well as in their 30s or something. So they will come through to what energy feels best for the reader, the medium, and the spirit. They'll kind of like energetically think about it like, oh, okay, what makes sense? Okay, this makes sense. I'll show up this way. Or the medium will interpret them in this way. Pretty cool, right? We need music on the altar. Lots of music. We need that. I mean, have you ever been to a Mexican party? There's lots of music. They love music and dancing and drinking and having a good time. Such happy people. We are very happy people. So yes, get that music flowing, get those drinks flowing, get that vibe going. It's like a dead man's party, like that Oingo Boingo song. We also leave prayers and devotional items like crucifixes, famous prayers that they really loved, angels, statues of saints, whatever feels good for you. This is a Catholic tradition that was made to appease to these indigenous people. They're like not wanting to become Catholic. Catholics are like, you know what, you can keep your Dia de los Muertos, we'll just merge it into this, and then the people were more likely to convert, right? So because of that, lots of Catholic imagery because of that. Dia de los Muertos opens us up to feeling comfortable to speaking about our loved ones who are dead in body, right? Or no longer in body, but very much alive in spirit. And that is such a beautiful thing. When you're missing somebody so much, you feel like they're not around. There is one day a year or one time a year where you can celebrate with them, where you can feel them, when you can invite them in, when it's okay to talk about death with everyone. They celebrate it. They have parades, lots of skulls, lots of beautiful, colorful images. Like, that's the best thing about Dia de los Muertos. It's like neon orange and pink and green and purple and all these beautiful colors, and celebrating and loud music and loud parades. And they'll have beautiful gatherings to celebrate. They'll have kids getting face painted, skulls on their faces. It's so neat. Dressing up, wearing marigolds and roses and flowers in your hair. It's such a pretty and beautiful sacred tradition. And yes, during Dia de los Muertos time, October 31st, the veil is thinner. When I talk about the veil thinning, I mean that the spirit world and our world gets even closer. There is just something around this time, and it's not only this time. Other cultures and traditions also celebrate this time, like there is Samhain, where people do a dumb supper, which is very similar to Dia de los Muertos, where we'll put out their favorite foods. A dumb supper, you'll put a plate out for your loved one in spirit to come eat with you at the table. So it's not just the Mexican people who are doing this. And that's why when I see people going to the store, buying items for Dia de los Muertos, it makes me happy. I'm like, some way they must be thinking about death, about their loved ones who are dead, and about how cool it must be in the spirit world, or how beautiful it is to be able to honor them by putting a sugar skull, or putting marigolds around your house, or beautiful flowers, maybe lighting some incense. It makes me really happy and hopeful that we in America here are opening up to more death positive, or a more beautiful way to open up to our loved ones who may not have a body anymore, but definitely have a very strong spirit. During this time, while the veil is thin, I do feel my great-grandmother around even stronger. She was one of my OG guides, one who really helped me out in Japan. And I'm just so honored to have her supporting me. She's got my back. She's really guiding me into continuing to strengthen my spirit work. If you saw any of my other videos, you'll know that she was the one who was also, in my opinion, a medium. She did connect with her son who had died, and she saw him in physical form on her bed with her. And that's enough for me to call her a medium. Not everyone can see that. Because the veil is thin, it is easier to feel spirit, because the spirit world and our world is even tighter. So yes, there are more hauntings, there are more spirit activity going on around you, and you'll be able to feel it if you're sensitive enough. That's really what it means. Someone like me, a medium, have to raise my vibration to meet spirit's vibration halfway, i.e. in the middle, i.e. mediumship, right? But during this beautiful time of the veil thinning, it's a lot easier for anyone to feel it without having to raise your vibration, so to speak. Just opening up to spirit out, you'll be able to feel them easier. Again, I don't get offended when I see people dressing up like, a mariachi or a Catrina during Dia de los Muertos, because it just makes me so happy that this is being normalized. When I was a little girl, I never saw these costumes. I never saw people talk about it. I would only see it in Mexico, on Mexican TV. I never saw it in America. So growing up, now, in my 40s and thinking, wow, everyone's doing it and it's accepted and it's so cool to see that. It's really humbling, and it makes me so happy that other people also are interested and want to participate in my culture. You don't have to have grown up with Dia de los Muertos to participate either. I didn't get to grow up with this. I would always see it on TV and think, I want to do that, but my family never did it. My grandmother immigrated over with my mom. My mom was born in Mexico. And so I wonder if that's why, because they were working really hard on being American. And it's not something that they probably did either with their grandparents. It's not something that they probably celebrated with their parents, I wonder. And I don't think my great-grandmother celebrated it either. I'm not sure why, but that always made me feel like, oh man, I wish I could celebrate it. So when I had my own kids, that was the first thing I did. I put up the altar. I started little by little growing it and telling my kids from babies, this is your tia, this is your tío, this is your abuelita, your abuelito, and they love you so much and they're around you and they're protecting you all the time. And so I feel like in our house, there's not a lot of fear of the unknown. I openly talk about ghosts, spirits, the dead, and it's just kind of like tee-hee, ha-ha, I felt something, woo, that's really it, which I'm so grateful for. So my kids love going to haunted houses and and anything spooky. They're not really scared by it, which is nice for me because I like those things too. Anyways, what matters about this day is the love and intention that you put into it for your loved ones in spirit. That's awesome. So if this resonates with you, please don't hesitate to celebrate as well. You don't have to do it Mexican style. You don't have to buy the Dia de los Muertos. Remember that other cultures do this too. When I lived in Japan, with multiple households that I've seen, they all have a family altar. And on this family altar, it opens and closes. You open it up, you put flowers, you put a fruit like apple or orange, whatever they like, cigarettes, you light incense, you give them water, and every day you pray to them. Light a candle. It's the same thing. And that's a daily practice that I've got to see, and I thought that's so awesome. I love that little altar space that they just have in their home, a space for grandma, grandpa, whoever, right? It's very similar, and I feel like anyone can participate in honoring their loved ones in spirit. I teach it. I don't think it's appropriation if you're doing it with love and intent to just connect. And you can use any symbol that makes you feel them stronger. All you need is a space, a loving intention, a candle. Be careful with candles. You gotta make sure you're watching those candles. Some incense, same with the incense. Things have gotten burned in my house from candles, from my altars, okay? And even if you think it's those votive candles that are in the glass, they can still burn. Those things crack and shatter, and so please be careful. Keep an eye on it, or use little electric candles like I do. Those are safe. Again, candles, incense, some food, something of theirs. Just have it in your area, and tell them thank you. I love you. I remember you. I'm so grateful to have you here in spirit with me. Just, send them that love. My mission is to make every day Dia de los Muertos. Join my 7-day Spirit Connection Challenge in my Spirit Connection Made Easy school, and I will teach you for free how you can connect with your loved ones in spirit in just 7 days with under like 10 minutes a day with each little exercise that we do. That way you can get an even deeper connection to them. It doesn't have to be difficult, and I show you how to do it in an easy and fun way. Link in the description down below. Who are your ancestors? What do you want to know from them? How do you want to honor them? Think about that. Share down below in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts, your love for them, their names, whatever you want to share. I'm here to honor and celebrate with you. The more we honor our loved ones, the more we realize they never truly left. Spirit is calling. Will you answer the call? Ding!